Pollinator gardens are super popular these days with good reason, and they're very needed. I wanted to talk a little bit about different kinds of pollinators and being sure that stuff is planted that services more than the big showy pollinators. This is a mountain mint, but you can see the flowers are tiny. They're in these little congested heads at the top, but the leaves around the flower heads are what are called bracts, and they are covered with this whitish hair, which makes this silvery green effect, which is extremely showy in the garden. I mean, this is a really nice garden plant. One thing about it, I would say, is that it wants to spread. It spreads via stolons, which are little like root runners, if you will. So don't put it someplace where you want a super controlled plant because you'll be fighting it. But it is a major plant for small pollinators. You'll see this covered up in sweat bees, little flies. They love these little tiny, tiny flowers. You can see there's a little guy right there working the flowers. These are little tiny tubular flowers that are in these congested heads, and the insects just love them. The small pollinators are just as important to us as the big ones. Another native worth thinking about for a pollinator garden is Galardia. This one's been blooming for a while. You can see seed heads coming on, but you can also see buds. It's a short-lived perennial, and it blooms for a long, long period. It's called Indian blanket or blanket flower, and it's really this beautiful, bright, vivid color, very southwestern looking to my eye. They're easy to grow, sun-loving, very drought tolerant. Both large and small pollinators like these composite blooms. This gorgeous thing is Monarda fistuloso, which is the native, commonly found all over Tennessee, bergamot. And it is a wonderful, wonderful pollinator plant. As you can see, just by looking at it, it is crawling with bumblebees. And we just had a pipevine swallowtail pass through here too. I've also seen silver-spotted skippers and fritillaries and various other butterflies on it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. The mintiness of it you can smell in the air as you get near the plant. It's so fragrant. This is a plant that services large pollinators. Notice you're not seeing any little bitty bees or anything on here. That's because the flowers, which occur in these circles around these congested heads, have long tubes, and the proboscis, basically the tongue, if you will, of the pollinator has to be long enough to reach the end of that flower tube to get the nectar it's after. And that means it has to be a bigger bee or a butterfly. The little guys can't get in there. This specimen here is maybe a shade over 5 feet tall. They run from 4 to 5 feet typically. They like sun, poor soil. I mean, they are not picky about soil at all. Easy to grow. Like all Monardas, it makes a spreading clump, but it's not as thuggish as some, which is spread wildly with big runners all over the place. This one is more constrained and blooms in the height of summer. Gorgeous flowers. I mean, the color, the head is this kind of smoky purple with these lovely lavender pink ring of florets around it. And it's just really beautiful. Rudbeckia herta, which is black-eyed Susan, and you can see this is just a regular wild form right here, looking with its black eyes. It comes in several named varieties, and this one is called Prairie Sun. Rudbeckia are, once again, great pollinator plants. Butterflies love them, and bees, and with these all the cone flowers in here, all the little fertile flowers, they service both large and small pollinators. This Prairie Sun is a really beautiful, large flowered variety. These are a little beat up. They've been blooming for quite a while, and we had a torrential rain yesterday. This is another one that blooms for a long period of time. Starts in May, continues on until late summer, so you get a lot of color. I really love the sort of the gradations of, it's almost ombre kind of, from very light yellow at the tips to a deep golden yellow at the center. And it's a really great plant. Easy to grow. All of the black-eyed Susans, which are native to Tennessee, are super easy to grow. They self-sow all over the place. I highly recommend them, and pollinators flock to them. Echinacea is a pollinator plant that everybody knows about. There's so many varieties of Echinacea out there, coneflower, usually called purple coneflower, that there are quite a few species and they hybridize with each other readily. And that's why there are so many cultivars out there now available. This is one called Cherokee Sunset. And the reason I love it is not only does it come in this range of gorgeous colors, it's a seed-grown strain, so you get everything from a yellow through these sort of pinks, mauves, and into these gorgeous, deep, saturated oranges and reds and rubies. It's a great, great strain. One of the things about Echinacea is that, especially a lot of the modern ones, you put them in, they look great, then the next winter you go, where'd it go? The next spring, because it rots out over the winter. They seem to be very touchy about how they winter over, and if it's a wet winter or something, they often rot out. This one does not. In my experience, Cherokee Sunset lasts, and the colors are just tropical. They're just gorgeous if you like yummy hot colors like I do. One thing about pollinator gardens is you don't need a lot of space. You may think you need a vast, expansive, bright, sunny yard or something, but you don't. A lot of pollinator plants work really well in containers. So even if you have a couple of tomato plants and you want to put a pollinator plant near them, put that mountain mint in a pot nearby. Tomatoes are pollinated by small bees, like sweat bees, believe it or not. And that mountain mint will draw them like magnets and pollinate your tomatoes really well. You can have Rudbeckia famously do well in pots. So, and many of the other things that I've shown you. So you can have these plants wherever you want, no matter what you're setting, unless you're in the deepest of deep shade. So have at it.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.